record.
Wait a second.
Yes, I've started the recording. We can resume the.
Okay. Now everyone is joining. So we are good to go. Yes. So an ordered pair consists of two elements in a given fixed order, right? Consists of two elements in a given fixed order. It is basically the position of a point in a 2D plane. For example, let's say if we draw the xy axis, then let's say we have a point x comma y, and this is basically my ordered pair where I can definitely write, because y comma x will be some different point. Let's say this is my different point, another point. Let's say this is my y comma x. So here x comma y and y comma x are different. Now from here you can obviously define unordered pair, right? So what is an unordered pair? Anyone?
But is it a pair of elements where there is no specific order, like in that case x comma y will be same as y comma x?
Yes, exactly the same. There is no difference between x comma y and y comma x. They are means you cannot represent them with a point in the 2D, because both points will overlap. That is not possible. So basically, then we go to equality of ordered pairs. So how can two ordered pairs be equal? Anyone?
When both of them represent the same point.
Yes, exactly. Let's say we have some ordered pair A1 comma B1, and if I say it is equal to A2 comma B2, that is possible only when it implies A1 equal to A2 and B1 equal to B2. For example, you can take a very simple example over here, that like, for example, 3a minus 2. I'm doing from the very basic. So if the class 12th and 11th people are feeling a bit boring, then please handle this part, because there are even class 9 and 8 and even 10 students over here. So they need to learn from the basics. So from here, you can directly equate them and write like 3a minus 1 is equal to 2a minus 1. So if we cancel them, then directly a is equal to 0, right? And then b plus 3 equals 3. We cancel them out, then b is equals to. I'm sorry, that was 3 minus 2, right? So 3 minus 2, that was this side. So 1. So a is equal to 1. Next, Cartesian product of two sets. Can anyone tell me what is a Cartesian product? Anyone?
So like if we have a Cartesian product of A set A and set B, then it will be a pair of ordered pairs. The resulting set will be a set of ordered pairs, where the first element of an ordered pair will be from set A and the second element will be from set B, and all possible pairs will be there.
Yes, exactly. So if we write that in words.
Is that true for only 2D plane or any like any n plane?
Yeah, what?
Is that true only for a 2D plane or any n generalized n plane?
Then let's say you have to take 3 sets, right? Because
Yeah.
maybe you take a cross of them, then you would get a 3D plane, right? Then you take any XYZ point, you would get that.
Yeah.
So basically, a set consisting of any number of elements cross a set consisting of any number of elements. You can take a cross with another set having any number of elements, and that will represent, let's say you have n sets and you are crossing each one of them, then you will get an n dimensional, right? A point in an ND plane. So let A and B be two non-empty sets, right? The set of all ordered pairs A comma B such that A belongs to capital A and B belongs to capital B is called Cartesian product of sets A and B. And is obviously denoted by A cross B. So are the class 8, 9, and 10 people getting all this? If I saw some people from 8, 9, and 10.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You can ask your doubts freely, huh? Don't be shy. Even I was a student 1 year ago. So a Cartesian product is basically a non-void set. Okay, so it is a non-void set of all ordered pairs A comma B such that small a belongs to, let's say, the set capital and small b belongs to the set, let's say, capital B. So if we take an example, for example, let's say capital A is equal to 1, 2, and 3, consists of 3 elements, and let's say B is equal to P, Q, R. Can anyone tell me how many elements will be there in A cross B?
3 factorial. 6.
9.
Yes, exactly 9. Why are you saying 3 factorial?
So once write each, or everyone can go.
So means you basically multiply the 3 numbers, right?
So I
Because
thought that we can just take once every number. It's not like that. Means everyone.
for example, there's a simple example. You can take a 3 cross 3 box, right? You get 9.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
So obviously, then A cross B is equal to every A comma B such that A belongs to A and B belongs to capital B. Now, if we write the elements, then obviously 1 comma P, 1 comma Q, 1 comma R. These are the first elements, let's say. And then we have 2 comma p, 2 comma q, 2 comma r. And then we have 3 comma p, 3 comma q, and 3 comma r. Done 9. Now, after doing this, we come to the definition. Yes, yes.
That means will the cardinal number of A cross B be the multiplication, the product of Cartesian, cardinal number of A into and the cardinal number of B?
Exactly. Na into nb.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So write it over here as a point only. Na? Let's say you have two sets A, and it has, let's say, number of elements Na, and B, which has obviously number of elements in B. Then A cross B will have elements Na into Nb. Right. So after all this, we come to what? Now, the definition of relation. What is a relation? Anyone?
They're a subset of A cross B.
Any subset?
Yeah, yes, I think so.
I think rightly. Is it any subset? Can it be a empty subset? 5? Then it be. Because obviously 5 is a subset of every set.
Usually we don't talk about empty relations, right?
Yes, means you can say there is no physical meaning of it.
Yes.
Yes. So we basically define, in the definition of relation, we basically define it as every non-zero subset of A cross B is defined as a relation from set A to set. Every non-zero subset of A cross B Okay. Can someone tell me which type of an operation is a relation? A linear operation, a binary operation? What type of an operation is it? Anyone?
Can you repeat once?
What type of an operation is a relation? Is it a linear operation or a binary operation?
It is a linear operation.
Is it a binary?
No, it is not a binary operation. It is a linear operation because obviously, if you place x, then you would get y. Obviously, right? In any equation, let's say, for example, the equation of a circle, right? There, if you place x, then you would get y automatically, provided you know r. Right? So it is a linear. So it is a linear operation, right? Did anyone say anything?
Can you explain this once again?
Can
you explain this once again?
Obviously. See, basically, in terms of set, if I say, then relation is a linear operation, let's say, which establish a relationship between the elements of two sets, right? According to a definite rule of relationship. Am I able to make this clear? Like there is a rule of relationship according to which we are relating the elements of two sets. I think it will be clear with an example, obviously. For
Yeah, can I
example,
do
then what is the definition of a relation then? It is A comma B, obviously, such that A comma B belongs to A cross B and A R B. This R is basically the relationship that we are defining between the elements of set A and the elements of set B. Right. So let's say this is the relation. Let's say we have a set A, which is, let's say 2, 3, and 5. Right. And I'm defining another set B, which is, let's say 1, 4, 9, 25, 30. Then let's say if I define a relation between them, obviously, if A, R, B, if I define a relation between them such that B is a square of A, then can anyone tell me that what are the discrete elements of this relation? Like, what are the ordered pairs that would be contained in this relation?
2, 4, 3, 9, and 5. No, 5 is not there. 2, 3, 2, 4, and 3, 9.
And 5,
And sir,
25.
5,25.
Obviously. So, is this thing clear to everyone? That why we call it a linear operation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, just like I said right now, that let's say you have a set A and a set B, then what are the total number of relations from A to B? Anyone? Like, I'm giving you time to calculate. It is a bit calculative.
Could you repeat?
2 to the power n minus 1 and 2 to the power n minus
What is n over here?
1. Like n is the sorry 2 to the power mn, like mn m is cardinal number of A and n is cardinal number of B. 2 to the power mn minus 1.
Yes, and how are you getting there? Can you explain it to everyone?
So like from combinatorics, we in set A cross B, the number of elements, number of ordered pairs is m into n. So from there, like we can have a relation where we are only picking one ordered pair, or we can pick 2 at a time or 3 at a time. So that will be mn choose 1 plus mn choose 2 plus mn choose 3 all the way till mn choose n. So that gives 2 to the power mn minus 1.
Yes, exactly right. So basically what we are doing over here, that we are taking two sets A and B, and let's say there are m elements in set A and there are n elements in set B. Like right now we calculated the number of elements in A cross B, it is mn, right? M into n. So what did we define relation as? Anyone? What is the definition of relation?
Any non-zero subset of A cross B.
Yes. So the number of non-void subsets, how can we calculate? The total number of elements we have in A cross B is mn. So of that mn, we have to select at least one element, right? So we calculate that MNC1 plus MNC2 plus dot 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 up to we take all the elements out of it, that is MNCMN, which definitely comes out to be 2 to the power mn minus, right? So if we write that, then
What is the M here?
M is the number of elements, total number of elements in set A, and N is the total number of elements in set B. Let me write, then it will be more clear to you. So total number of relation from A to B. So let's say we write let A contain M elements and B contains N elements. Right. So number of elements in A cross B is equal to Mn. Now, so number of non-void subsets right, number of non-void subsets, we can definitely write it is equal to MnC1 plus MnC2 plus dot 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 up to MnCMn, which we can definitely write as 2 to the power Mn minus 1. Does everyone here know combinatorics a little bit? Means at least what we require for, let's say, PRMO, let's say, little bit. Just what do we mean by this C?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Even the class 8, 9, 10, 10th people, do they know that?
Yes, sir.
Then you are able to get this though, that MnC1 plus MnC2 plus dot 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 up to MnCMn is 2 to the power Mn minus 1. How does it come?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know it.
Okay. Like these things should go on in the back of your mind, how the proof came, how everything came, because
Can you
as
show
far
this
as,
proof once?
yes, obviously, why not?
Sir,
Everyone
can
knows
I
the
tell one
expansion
way
of,
to prove it?
yeah,
Sir, can I tell one way to prove it?
tell now.
Sir, if we consider x plus y to the whole to the power n, or sir 1 plus x whole to the power n only. So sir, it would be like nc0 then x to the power n plus nc1 x to the power n minus 1 and dot plus dot 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 ncn x to the power 0. So sir, if we here put x is equal to 1, then sir the RHS would become nc0 plus nc1 plus nc2 plus dot 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 till ncn, and on the LHS we would get 1 plus 1 whole to the power n, which is 2 to the power n. So sir, we can say that 2 to the power n is equal to nc0 plus nc1 plus nc2 plus dot 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 ncn, and nc0 we know that it's 1. So if we take 1 to the other side, we will get 2 to the power n minus 1 is equal to nc1 plus nc2 plus dot 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 ncn.
So basically, that is absolutely the right way. So if we write nc0 x to the power n plus nc1 x to the power n minus 1 plus dot 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 to ncn x to the power 0, right? So what do we do over here? This ncn is basically 1, right? This ncn is basically 1. And if we substitute x is equal to 1 over here, then this becomes 2 to the power n. So obviously, if this becomes 2 to the power n, and if we bring this one this side, then that becomes 2 to the power n minus 1 is equal to nc0 x to the power n plus nc1 x to the power n minus 1 plus dot 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 nc n minus 1. Is it clear? Like, is this clear to everyone? The proof?
Yes, sir.
There is another one very intuitive way to do it. It just struck in my mind. Like, what do we define a relation to be? It is basically a non-void subset of A cross B, right? So A cross B contains mn elements. You pick every element of A cross B, and let's say you want to make a subset out of it. So let's say we take a subset wala dabba and we keep it right beside us, and we have that A cross B wala dabba in our place, right? So in front of us. So basically, we
Yes.
pull out one element, and we have two choices. Either we
Yes,
place it
yes.
back in that box,
We can take it
and
or we can.
yes, or we can transfer it into that box, right?
Yes.
And of all those choices, we have to neglect which choice. We have to
Where
pull
we
out.
take none of them.
Yes, we take none of them, right? So that is very intuitive. You can also go by that and easily prove that it is 2 to the power mn minus. So next we have, this is very important, domain and range of a relation. You will face several questions in functions of domain and range. In JEE Mains, so they'll directly ask you the domain and range, and in JEE Advanced, like they'll obviously use the domain and range in some of the other form in the question, which you have to identify sitting there in that tense hall. Anyone, what is the domain?
It's a set of all the first elements of an ordered pair in the
Okay.
relation.
Then what is the range?
A set of all the images.
Output.
of the ordered.
Okay. So let's say we have a point x comma y. Then this x will be what, and this y will be what?
So like usually we like call it a pre-image and image, right? What?
Yes.
So the set of all the pre-images will be the domain, and the set of all images in the relationship in the relation will be range. So
Yes,
X will
obviously.
come from
Yes, obviously. Let's say x comma y be any of those elements in that relation. Then x will be obviously a part of the domain, and y will be a part of the range, right?
yes.
Okay. So let's not go into the definition, a formal definition. We can tackle it informally only over here. And we only write over here domain. Okay, first of all, let's define a relation. Let R such that A T. Right. This means what? This means what? This notation means R is a relation from A to B. Right. Then you can obviously define domain as set of all first entries in R. Right.
What does it mean by first entries?
First entries means that only, na? Let's say we have x comma y as any element of that relation. Then the set of all first entries means the set of all x. Let's say some x1, x2, dot 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 up to xn, right? Which we have in the in set A. Let's say this belongs to some set A, which is related to some set B. Then the set of all first elements, these x1, x2, dot 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 xn all belong to A. This will be my domain. Is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
A such that A comma B belongs to R, and obviously range. Similarly, we can say set of all second entries in R. Right. So it is basically B such that A comma B belongs to R. Now let us take an example of this. So say A is equal to, let's say, we can take what? 1, 3, 5, 7. And B, what shall we take? B, let's say 2, 4, 6. Then obviously, let's say we define the relation as the relation ARB defined as A greater than B. Okay, and we write A belongs to A and B belongs to B. What are the elements of R? How many elements? How many elements are there in R? Just anyone calculate and tell me.
I think there are 6.
6. Yeah.
Yes. I also think there are 6 elements. I just made the set by myself. Like, so yeah, there are 6 elements. So here, what is the domain then?
So domain will be 3, 5, 7 set.
Domain is 3, 5, 8. And what is the range?
2, 4, 6.
So yeah. Now
Sir, could
let's
you
say
just show the previous page for a moment?
obviously.
Yes, sir, this one, sir. Yes, sir. They're done, sir. Thank you, sir.
So like if we draw the mapping diagram, right? Then this has 3 elements, 3, 5, and 7 is basically my domain. And over here we have 2, 4, and 7, right? Okay. What is mapping to what? Tell me. This is my domain, this is my range. 3 is mapping to which number?
Sir, 2, 4, and 6, right?
Huh?
Sir, in
2, 4,
range it should be 2, 4, and 6.
yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, yes. Okay. So 3 is mapping to which one?
Two.
Sir, 2.
Okay. 5 is mapping to?
Sir, 2 and 4.
Okay. And 7 is mapping to?
Sir, 2, 4, and 6.
Okay. Can anyone tell me if somebody has any idea about functions? Then is this a function?
No, sir.
And why not? Can you
So
explain this
because
to?
function.
You're from which class? You're from which class? Tell your name and you're from which class?
11. So I'm Arjo.
Okay. So please explain this to everyone. Means there are even 9, 10 students over here.
So for a function, like function is basically like it is a type of relation, but it has certain rules. Like for function, we can only have one unique image for every element in the domain. So over here, like 5 is mapping to both 2 and 4. That is not possible in a function. It must only have one unique image. And all of the elements in the domain must have an image in the codomain. So
Yes. So is x square equal to 4y a function or y square equal to 4x a function?
so x square equal to 4m.
Yes, obviously. Okay, for the people who are not understanding, obviously, this way you'll not understand that. We'll definitely come into that. Before that, let's do inverse of a relation. What is inverse of a relation? Anyone?
So all ordered pairs BA such that AB belongs to R.
मतलब basically घुमा दिया, right?
Yes, yes. All ordered
So,
pairs cool.
obviously. So let's say we write over here inverse of a relation. So if R is defined how much time is left for this meeting to end? Anyone?
The meeting won't end, it's unlimited. You can go on.
Okay. Then R inverse is a relation defined from B to A as obviously R inverse is equal to a set let's say B comma A such that A comma B it belongs to my relation R. And obviously which is a thing which is quite obvious that the domain of R is equal to range of my R inverse, and obviously range of R is equal to domain of R inverse. everyone is able to understand, right? Please keep updating me because it will be helpful to me only.
Yeah, can you show the previous page once? Yeah.
Okay. So if we take a very common example, then say we have set in, which is, let's say, n is a set of first, let's say 10 natural numbers.
Can you scroll up a bit? I think I missed one part. Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, so n is a set of first 10 natural numbers, and we define a relation between a, r, b, and a and b. We define then defined as a plus 2b is equal to 10, and obviously capital N is equal to 1, 2, 3 up to 10, and a comma p belongs to n, right? So what is R? What are the elements in R? Can anyone tell me? What are the elements?
Two comma 4, 4,3, 6,2, 8,1.
Okay, so 2 comma 4, 4 comma 3, comma 2, and 8 comma 1, right? So if we draw the representation of R, then how will it look like? And I think it is 4, 3, 2, 1 over here.
Yeah.
Yes.
2 gets mapped to 4, 4 gets mapped to 3, 6 gets mapped to 2, and 8 gets mapped to 1. Right? This is domain and this is my range. Acha, now what will be R inverse? Obviously, that is quite obvious that it will be 4 comma 2. Then we have 3 comma 4. Obviously 2 comma 6 and 1 comma 8. If we draw the picture of this one, then we see that domain this time we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 4, 6, 8 over here. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so 1 is getting mapped to 8, right? 2 is getting mapped to 3 is getting mapped to 4, and 4 is getting mapped. Was this clear? That what is an R inverse?
Yes.
Like
Yes,
we
sir.
reversed the entropy, right? The domain became the range and the range became the. Now, if we move on to the types of relation, there are total 4 types of relation, right? And one is basically a mixture of everything. So basic types of relation. Number 1 is the identity relation. So types of relation. So number 1, we have the identity relation. Anyone, what is the identity relation? I think it's quite obvious from its name.
Like algebraic identities and all, like that stuff.
You can explain with an example. That would be the best. Which function is called an identity function? I think it is given in NCERT, class 11th or 12th NCERT. Which function is an identity function? Come on, guys.
X equals to X.
Yeah, so y is equal to x, right?
Yeah.
So exactly the same thing holds over here. A is equal to B such that A or B is an identity, right? How do we formally define? Relation defined on set A is said to be an identity relation if every element of set A is related to itself and only to itself. Am I clear? Like
Can you repeat
for
once?
example, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and so on. Let's say we have this set. Then 1 is related to 1 and only 1. 2 is related to 2 and only 2. Right? Is it clear? To itself and only to itself, right? 2 cannot be related to 3. Like if we have the relation where we have, let's say 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and then we have suddenly one element 2, 3. Then is that an identity relation? Obviously no, right? Because then A is equal to B, that basic law is flawed, right? So a relation defined on set A is said to be an identity relation if every element of A is related to itself and only to itself. So if we see it with an example, then a relation defined, let's say, on the set of natural numbers with the rule that obviously I'm not writing all that. Let's say the rule is A or B is defined on the set of natural numbers that A is equal to B is an identity function we know. Identity relation So R is equal to 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and so on, obviously. And obviously, if we have any other element, let's say of the form A comma B, where A not equal to B, then that will not be an identity. That needs no mention. So now we have three basic types of relations. Now identity relation is very basic. These three are very important and will come in your JU. मतलब आएगा ही आएगा, आता ही है, हर साल आता है, इस बार भी आएगा. तो इतने सारे शिफ्ट भी होने लगे, तो इट विल कम. रिफ्लेक्सिव, सिमेट्रिक, transitive. Right. So what is a reflexive relation? Anyone? Any idea? Any idea? Okay,
So
so
like if we are mapping, so if we are mapping from set A to set B and element A belongs to set A, then if it is a reflexive relation, then it implies that ordered pair A comma A will also belong to the relation.
yes, obviously that means, let's say if if for any A comma B belongs to R, then A comma A also belongs to R, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so basically a reflexive relation is, you go by the definition, then reflexive a relation defined on set A is said to be a reflexive relation if each and every element of A is related to now mind that I am not mentioning here that it is only related to itself. It is related to itself and it is only related to itself. These two are like two statements with Helen difference, right? Am I clear? Because if it is related to only itself, then what kind of a relation would it be?
Yeah,
It's an identity relation.
Identity.
Exactly. That means over here we can have A comma B also, A comma C also, A comma D also. But if A comma B exists, then let's say for any B, then if A comma B exists, then A comma A has to exist in the set. Right. So if A comma B belongs to R, then A comma A also belongs. Right. So let's say if we take an example. Let we have a set capital A is equal to 1, 2, 3, let's say. And let's say we have a set R is equal to 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 1, 3, and 2, 1. Now, is this relation reflexive on set A? Just go by the definition and tell.
Yes, it is.
Yes, yes.
It
Yes,
is.
sir, it is.
Achha. How is it? Anyone tell me.
So it has both A comma A sets also and A comma B where A is not equal to B. So both type, for example, it has 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2 and 3 comma 3 and also 1 comma 3 and 2 comma 1.
Okay, so
Sorry.
in such cases, I'll tell you a trick. Don't care about these elements, right? Because these have to be there. If this question comes in your exam, these have to be there, right? So don't focus on these. Focus on only the elements which have both of their let's say x comma y different, right? So if you see over here, let's say 2 comma 1, and if 2 comma 1 exists, then 2 comma 2 has to exist. If 1 comma 3 exists, then 1 comma 1 has to exist. Even if I remove 3 comma 3 out of here, right? And even if I remove 3 comma 3 and let's say I remove 3 out of here, then 3 out of A obviously, then is it reflective? Is it a reflexive relation on R? A?
So sir, like the existence of 3 comma 3 does not matter here in this case.
Obviously, it does not matter.
Okay, sir.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's clear.
So let's say we have another example. This is very interesting one. So let's say we define a relation. Defined everyone got the last example, sir? You got the trick, sir, that you do not need to see these.
Yes, sir. Got it.
The relation defined on, let's say, set of natural numbers. That ERP implies A divides B for all A comma B. That's not right for all over here. Okay, so so is this set reflexive on the set of natural numbers?
Yes, sir. It is.
And why?
Because
Sir,
A divides
because
by B.
A will, if B A is equal to B, then A will for sure divide B. And also A is not equal to B. Those cases also exist in that set.
Let's say some A comma B exists in that set, right? So let's say 3 comma
Yes,
6 exists in that set. So basically 3 comma 3 will also exist in that set, right? Because every
Yes,
natural
sir.
number divides itself also. So since every natural number divides itself, and we can definitely say that it is a reflexive relation. Did everyone get this?
Yes, sir.
So if you write over here that R would always contain A comma A because every natural number divides itself and hence is reflected. Okay. So can anyone establish some relation between the identity relation and the reflective relation? Like somewhat of this type, every reflective relation can be an identity relation, or every identity relation.
Every identity relation is a reflexive relation, but every reflexive relation is not an identity relation.
Okay, so note this point down, obviously. And that is why I said to you that never look at these elements. Never look at these elements 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Because they have to exist. If 1, 3 exists, if let's say I could have put here, let's say 3, 2, then the existence of 3, 3 was mandatory. Right? So never look at those elements. Means it's of no use. It will only waste your time. So now, if we take a note over here and write that every identity relation is a reflexive relation. But converse is not true. Now a symmetric relation. What is a symmetric relation? What is a symmetric relation? Let's say we have some a comma b belongs to R. Then what is the condition? Which element should necessarily belong to R?
A belongs to R, then B comma A must also belong to R.
Obviously, right? Because it's a mirror property. So a relation defined on set A is said to be symmetric if A or B implies B or right. That is, if A comma B belongs to R, then B comma A also belongs.
I have a doubt. Like, can I ask?
Okay.
Like, if there is a like relation 4, 2, 4, 4, 3, 1, and 2, 3. Like, uh, will this be reflective? Like, because there is 3, 3 and 3, some other element.
Can you repeat that?
Any example, like 2, 4.
Okay, 2, 4 is there, but is 2, 2 there in the set?
Yeah, like there are 3 elements. Let's say 2, 4, 2, 2, 3, 1. Will this be reflective?
No, obviously not. How?
There has to be the other one, right? The pair one.
If 3, 1 is there, so 3, 3 has to be there.
So this won't be categorized as a reflective sum, right?
Yes, obviously it is not a reflexive relation.
Okay, got it.
Comma 1 is there, 3 comma 3 is not there. So that is why I told you, never check for like 3 comma 3, because those have to exist. If they are written there, they are correct. If they have to exist, or you have got nothing to do with it. For example, I showed there that even if you remove 3 comma 3, then also it is a reflexive relation, right?
Yeah.
So basically, let's say we define A, R, B. We take several examples over here, and you will get a better visualization. A is parallel to B. Okay, so is this a symmetric relation? Now, obviously, because if A is parallel to B, then obviously B is parallel. Then we have, let's say, L1 R L2 and L1 is, let's say, perpendicular to L2. This,
Yes.
obviously, mutually perpendicular line, XY axis. A R B, like everyone else is getting to.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so basically, tell me this one. Very logical.
Yeah, it is a symmetric.
Yeah.
Not
Is it
symmetric.
symmetric? Yes, obviously it is not symmetrical.
Then B can be sister of A also.
Obviously, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. So, okay, so let's say point over here. Take a note. If R is symmetric, then what relation can we derive between R and R?
Can you repeat once?
If R is symmetric, then what relation can we derive between R and R inverse?
R equal to R inverse.
Yes, exactly. Obviously, R will be equal to R inverse. Right? क्यों? क्योंकि मान लो A, B अगर एलिमेंट ऑलरेडी है, इसका मतलब क्या? B, A भी ऑलरेडी मेरे सेट में है, राइट? तो अगर
Yes.
A, B मेरे सेट में है, B, A भी मेरे सेट में है, तो ऑब्वियसली R इक्वल टू R इनवर्स. क्यों? क्योंकि अगर A, B मेरे R में होता, तो B, A मेरे R इनवर्स में होता, राइट? और अगर B, A मेरे R इनवर्स में होता, B, A अगर R में है, तो ऑब्वियसली A, B भी मेरे R इनवर्स में होगा. तो R इनवर्स में A, B भी आ गया, B, A भी आ गया. Hence R is equal to R. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So what can we say about the domain of R and range of R?
Will they be same?
Obviously they will be same. Because if A, B exists and B, A exists, then obviously, right? They have to be same. So range of R is equal to domain of. Okay. Now we come to last but not the least, a transitive relation. Okay. So what is a transitive relation? Any intuition? Or maybe some of you have studied already.
So if A comma B belongs to R and B comma C belongs to R, then A comma C belongs to R.
Okay. And over here, what can you say about A, B, C? Do they need to be distinct or not distinct?
Uh, may or may not be distinct. I'm not sure.
Obviously, they need not be distinct.
Yes.
We'll see several cases. Like I'll give you the DPP, which I think you should all solve because J is coming near. And for the juniors also, obviously they'll get a grasp of the topic relations. Obviously, so it need not be distinct. We'll see several examples, several questions. Right. And from in the next class also, we'll be starting with some questions only, some examples of this, and then we'll be continuing on to functions because we are the end of relation. As far as J is concerned, we are the end of relation. So we can definitely write that a relation on set A is said to be transitive if A are B, right, and B are C implies A are right. So basically, this means what? If let's say A comma B belongs to R and B comma C belongs to R, then obviously A comma C will belong. And obviously note over here that A, B, C need not be if we take an example, then A R B, such that it is defined as A minus B is even. And let's say if 6 comma 4 is there in the set, and 4 comma 20 is there in the set, it implies 6 comma 20 belongs to R. That is quite obvious.
Can you show the previous page once?
This part?
Yeah.
Okay, let's say we have 3 natural numbers x, y, and z. Okay.
Acha,
And
Dada, does that mean that all the symmetric relations are transitive?
all
All the symmetric relations are transitive also.
the symmetric relations are transitive. How? Take an example and say.
Like in this case only, see, if 6 comma 4 and we can take another as 4 comma 6. Oh no, yeah. Can we take negatives? Yeah.
Yeah.
Then 6
That's
comma
right.
6 will also be in the set, and 4 comma 4 will also be there.
Yeah, like 6 comma 4 is there in the set, 4 comma 6 is there in the set, then obviously yes, 6 comma 6 is there in the set, but it is not true for every case, right?
So
It is
it's
true,
not compulsory for a transitive set to be symmetric.
and vice versa.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so let's say we have three numbers, let's say x, y, and z, which are natural numbers, and it is defined to us as x is less than y and y is less than z. Then it is quite obvious, right, that x will be less than z. So that is obviously that relation will be obviously a transitive relation. Now we come to the most complicated one, in which you have to check all these, right? Reflexive, symmetric, transitive, not obviously identity, because that's not important. Obviously it is important, but like not important from the point of view of JEE. So equivalence relation, that is equivalence relation. So if a relation is all the three, reflexive, symmetric, transitive, then it is an equivalence relation. We all get it? If a relation is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive, then it is said to be an equivalence relation. Right. So we define over here. It's a relation. Don't worry, we'll take example. You will get to know. The relation is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. Then it is said to be equivalence relation. So let's say if we take very simple example first, that a relation defined on natural numbers, relation defined on in A R B implies A equal to B. Now, is this reflexive, symmetric, and transitive? Tell me. Is this
Yes, sir, it
reflexive?
is.
Okay. And is it symmetric?
Whatever is A greater
It-
than B.
No, I've mentioned the relation. The relation is A is equal to B. It is not greater than. Wait, 1 second.
Sir, it will be symmetric also.
Yes.
Sir, because if A is equal to B, then A comma B will also exist and B comma A will also exist, which would be same as A comma A. So, sir, both of them will be equal only. A comma B is equal to B comma A.
Yes, obviously means if A comma B exists and B comma exists, both can't exist simultaneously, right? Because in a set we can't have repetitive elements, because if
Yes,
A
sir.
is equal to B, then both can't exist together. So it is a reflexive set, symmetric set, and obviously transitive, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is an equivalence relation. Next, let's take another example. A relation defined on the set of parallel lines in a plane. Let's say A or B implies A parallel to B. Is this an equivalence relation? Just think of it once. Just go through every relation one, and you'll get to know.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, it will be an equivalence relation.
Yes. Can you explain this to everyone?
Yes, sir. Sir, first of all, it would be symmetric. It would be a symmetric relation because if A is parallel to B, then B will be also parallel to A. So, sir, both A comma B and B comma A will exist in R. Then, sir, it would be a transitive set, because if A is parallel to B and B is parallel to C, then sir, for sure A will also be parallel to C.
Hmm.
And sir, then sir, it would be a reflexive set, because sir, A will always be parallel to A.
Obviously.
Like it is the truth, it's if a line A exists, then it will always be parallel to itself. So A comma A will also exist in the set. So sir,
That's a
that is why
tautology.
it is.
That's a
Yes, sir.
tautology. It's true every time. That's a tautology,
Yes, sir.
obviously. Okay. So likewise, if we see, let's say, a relation defined on the set of integers, let's say x r y, where x minus y is even. What is it? Is it an equivalence relation?
Sir, could you repeat?
Should I write it?
Yes, yes.
Say we have a relation defined on the set of integers z x r y implies x minus y is even. Okay, this is what I'm talking about.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, it would be an equivalence set only. Sorry,
Okay.
relation. I mean equivalence relation.
Yes. Yes. Obviously. Can you explain it?
Yes, sir. Sir, first of all, it would be a symmetric relation, because if x minus y is is even, then sir, for sure y minus, for example, if we consider x minus y is equal to 2k, where k belongs to an integer, then sir, y minus x will be minus 2k, which we can represent as 2 into minus k, and minus k will also for sure will be an integer. So sir, we can, then if x comma y exists in R, then y comma x will also exist. So it is a symmetric relation. Then it would be reflexive relation, because x minus x is 0, and so 0 we can represent it as 2 into 0, and 0 is an integer. So here also we get an even answer only. So x comma x will also exist. And sir,
Okay.
it would be a transitive set, because if x minus y is equal to 2k1, for example, so and k1 is an integer, and y minus z is equal to 2k2, where k2 is an integer, then sir, x minus z would become 2 into k1 plus k2, and for sure k1 plus k2 will be an integer, so it would be also even. So it would be a transitive relation also, so it is an equivalence relation.
Yes. Did everyone get that?
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll be sending you the DPP. We have completed the part of means the relation part that is there in JE. I will be sending you the DPP, and in the next class we'll be starting from here only, so that we have a good amount of revision of the thing, right? And we will be starting with a question. Let's say we'll be doing some 5 to 6 questions in the class itself, and I'll be sending you the DPP. And is Swapnish there in the class? Is he there?
Sir, Saptosha Dada is there, but he is, I guess, he can't unmute.
Okay, so yeah, can anyone take the onus of forming a WhatsApp group?
Yeah, we have the Discord. I guess you can join them.
Okay, will you guys be comfortable on the Discord, because I'll be sharing that.
Yeah, we're active there. Like most of us are active.
Well, we are already enrolled there.
Okay.
And the Maths
So,
Club is nowadays on the Discord only. The WhatsApp group is rarely used.
Okay,
But I am not. Can someone add me?
Okay, so send him the link. So I'll be joining that too, the Discord group, and there I'll be sending you the DPP. Right. So that would be the best. So is that okay for everyone?
I have sent the link in the chat.
Okay. Did
Yes,
everyone
thank you.
did everyone understand today's class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So basically, we'll be continuing with functions, right, in the next class. And I do recommend you to solve that DPP. I mean, the questions are very good level, if you consider. And obviously, since the relation is completed, I would also provide you with the rank boosting means a question, which would be of good level, obviously, very good level. Obviously, though only for those who are aiming for J Advanced, right? And I think you all should aim for J Advanced, since in today's world it is more probable to clear JEE Advanced as compared to JEE Main. Obviously, since it is there is more competition in JEE Mains, but you need to clear it to get in advance. But after that, getting in advance is easier as compared to getting in Main. How many of you know that there were 18 rank ones this year in JEE Main?
Sir, I heard about it.
Yes, sir. I also heard about it.
You can see the amount of competition right here, right? So that is going quite difficult, and about 41 people got 100%. Right? Can you imagine that? And in J Advance, if you score around 50%, then you'll get a very decent rank and a very decent branch in a decent college. That's where the difference occurs. So we'll obviously converse about all this throughout our course, and be interactive. That's what I would like to say, and solve the question. That's it.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So will you take classes every Wednesday at 4?
No, means I had talked to Hafizul sir. If you, I think you all know him. So I had talked to Hafizul sir. He told me that to start today, the next class I'll intimate you as soon as I get time. And obviously, I would ask you all on Discord only. I'll ask that if you guys have time, then you all can give. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
how many people are there on Discord?
It's like around 30 total of us.
So you
Most
all
of them
guys.
not like the ones who are active are around 20.
Okay, so you can also encourage the others also to attend the.
Yeah, like the class 11 people, they usually don't attend in the Discord.
Yes, and tell them to attend the class, right? Because it would benefit them only. Obviously, if they are interested and if they need it, because many people are already doing at their own level. If they need it, they can attend.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So we wind up today. Does anyone have any doubt? Any questions? Okay, I mentioned another thing. Yes.
Yeah, I said thank you.
Okay. So one thing that you all can discuss those questions in Discord, and obviously as I get time, and if you are not able to solve those questions, I'll help you in solving. And please go through the brochure once, right? You get to know everything about this course in there. And if there's no problem if you share this course to juniors also, those who are good students, right? if they want to attend. If you have connections with juniors, then just obviously in this COVID period you may have. Okay. So winding up today's class, Dr. Sir, you can end the recording. Okay. Bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.